Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the iPhone 13 against the Samsung Galaxy S21 and the Xiaomi Mi 11. Right now we are shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second, except for the Xiaomi, which can only shoot at 1080p. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has better colors and which one has a better audio. We have switched now to the rear cameras, and again we're shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. This is one of the first camera comparisons of the iPhone 13, and for that a thumbs up would be appreciated. They do also feature ultra-wide cameras, and you can see how much more you can capture in the frame. We start now with some selfies from their front cameras, and in this very first case the iPhone 13 starts strongly by producing the best picture. My face and my t-shirt are bright and very color accurate. Also, the dynamic range is excellent. The S21 didn't manage to preserve the original colors of my t-shirt and my face, and also the dynamic range is weaker compared to the iPhone 13. The Mi 11 on the other hand took the brightest picture, but as you can see the sky is entirely blown out. In this next scene, just like before, the iPhone 13 took the most accurate picture. My face is brighter than the others, and also the sky is well preserved. The Mi 11 took again the worst picture, with the S21 being somewhere in between. The iPhone 13 does also shine in this scene too. My face is very sharp and my skin color is very accurate. I do also like the picture taken with the S21, even though it is more on the cooler side, and I don't prefer it over the warmer tone of the iPhone. My t-shirt on the Mi 11 looks brighter, but the overall picture still remains the worst. Moving to a next scene, and here I do prefer the S21 over the iPhone 13 because my face is brighter and I am more in focus and differentiated from the background. The iPhone 13 again produced a more natural image, but with the cost of being darker. The Mi 11, just like before, didn't manage to keep up with the rest. Switching to the rear cameras, and we see similar results just like before. The iPhone 13 took a more natural image, while the S21 took a brighter and more vibrant picture. Just like Samsung, the Mi 11 took a more vibrant picture, but I think it is still worse than the others. The Galaxy S21 has a big advantage because it has also a 3x hybrid zoom telephoto camera. It isn't a real telephoto sensor, and the quality isn't amazing, but at least it is better than the others. All of them do, however, have ultra-wide cameras, and in this case I prefer the picture taken from the S21 because it is brighter and the shadow areas are more visible. The iPhone 13 picture does also look very good and very natural. On the other hand, the ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11 took the worst picture. It is worth mentioning that it isn't as wide as the others. Moving to a next scene, and here I really do like the picture of the iPhone 13. The buildings and the grass have natural colors, and the dynamic range is just unmatched. The S21 again took a more vibrant picture, but the dynamic range isn't as good as on the iPhone 13, even though it is a lot better compared to the Mi 11, which is also a lot darker. We have the same story with the ultra-wide cameras, with the iPhone 13 having the most natural image and the best dynamic range. The Mi 11, just like before, has the worst result. And by now things are becoming clear that the ultra-wide camera of this device is worse compared to the other phones. In this next set of pictures I do prefer the Galaxy S21 over the iPhone 13, even though the latter managed to minimize the impact of the sun more than the others. I like the S21 more because the picture is brighter and the shadow areas are more visible. The Mi 11 is still behind both of them. With the ultra-wide cameras, the difference between the S21 and the others is even bigger. I really love the ultra-wide camera of the S21, and when it comes to these situations, even the iPhone 13 can't match up. The ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11, on the other hand, is way worse. Moving to a next difficult situation, and here, just like before, the S21 really shines. Just like earlier, it managed to take the brightest and sharpest picture. The iPhone 13 and the Mi 11 are very similar here, but the prior wasn't affected as much from the sun as the latter. When it comes to the ultra-wide cameras, just like earlier, the S21 has the brightest picture, followed by the iPhone 13 and the Mi 11. It is worth mentioning that the ultra-wide camera of the iPhone 13 isn't the same one found on the 13 Pro. That's why in most of the cases it is still behind the S21. In this next scene, I really do enjoy the picture taken from the iPhone 13. The leaves are very accurate and the dynamic range is amazing. The S21 is also very good, but the colors aren't as accurate, with the Mi 11 producing a warmer picture which isn't as good as the others. In general, when it comes to daylight pictures with their main cameras, the iPhone 13 and the S21 are neck and neck in most of the cases. The Mi 11 isn't as good as the others, with its weakest point being the dynamic range and shadow areas. The iPhone 13 and the Galaxy S21 are also very similar when it comes to their ultra-wide cameras. In this case, both did an amazing job, with the ground being slightly brighter on the iPhone 13, but the trees being brighter on the S21. The ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11 just can't keep up. Where the Mi 11 shines is macro photography, because it has a dedicated macro camera, and it can focus much closer compared to the others. The iPhone 13 and the S21 miss the ultra-wide cameras of their more premium siblings. That's why they don't have a macro mode. Moving to Lowlight, and in this first case the iPhone 13 and the Galaxy S21 are much better compared to the Mi 11, which doesn't even support night mode on its front camera. The iPhone 13, just like in daylight, still manages to have a more natural image, even with night mode enabled, and I do prefer it over the S21. In this next scene, just like before, the iPhone 13 and the S21 are much brighter and sharper compared to the Mi 11. This time, however, I prefer the S21 over the iPhone 13. The Mi 11 is also affected a lot from street lights. The S21 managed to also have the best picture here. My face is sharper compared to the iPhone 13. The Mi 11 looks terrible, and it just shows the importance of having night mode. Switching to the rear cameras, and here in this scene all of them managed to have good pictures. Sure, the results are very different from each other. The iPhone 13, for example, is the brightest. The S21 has cooler colors and the Mi 11 is darker, but all of them are actually very usable. On the other hand, with their ultra-wide cameras, the iPhone 13 and the S21 are much better compared to the Mi 11, which is darker and noisier. In this next place, the iPhone 13 and the Mi 11 are very similar when it comes to colors. I do, however, still prefer the 13, because it is slightly brighter and everything is more visible. The S21 is the worst in this case. When it comes to the ultra-wide cameras, the iPhone 13 is still the brightest, but the S21 is actually sharper. The Mi 11, even though bright, it is very blurry. Moving to a different place, and here all of them produce different results. The iPhone 13 is brighter and has warmer colors. The S21 is slightly darker and has a cooler tone. The Mi 11 is in between when it comes to the color tones, but at the same time it is darker and the reflections of the lights are too distracting. The results of the ultra-wide cameras are almost identical, and even though I like the iPhone 13 picture a lot, I have to give the win to the S21. Because it is the only one not affected from the street lights. The Mi 11 still remains the worst, as the reflections almost made the picture unusable. In this next scene, however, I actually do prefer the Mi 11 picture the most, because it is the brightest and the most detailed one. This just shows that all of their main cameras are very good, especially with night mode. The ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11, however, did constantly produce worse images. Between the iPhone 13 and the S21, I do like the latter here, because it is sharper even though it isn't as bright. Just like in daylight, the iPhone 13 and the Galaxy S21 are close to each other even in low light. The 13 did produce warmer pictures in most of the cases compared to the S21. However, both are very great. The Mi 11 managed to surprise me a couple of times, but overall its cameras aren't as good. Also, the results with the ultra-wide cameras between the iPhone 13 and the S21 were very similar in most of the cases. The iPhone 13 was brighter in some cases, and sometimes it overexposed the scene just like here. The ultra-wide camera of the S21 was consistent in most of the shots in daylight and in low light. The ultra-wide camera of the Mi 11 on the other hand constantly produced the worst images. So guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below which one was your winner. If you did enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you for watching.